Self-sufficiency is the ultimate dream for any organic farmer. You grow crops for food, use the leftovers to feed your livestock, and in return, they provide the essential nutrients back to your garden.
But on just 1 acre of land, what can you actually raise? Do you think a few chickens and a couple of goats would already take up all the space?
Truth is, the number of animals you can manage is much higher than you might think.
To help you save time and optimize your space right from the start, in this video, I'll share 11 types of livestock that bring the most value to your ecosystem. And number 11 is going to be the one that surprises you the most. Every week, I share grounded insights on organic gardening and intentional living. Hit subscribe to ensure you're getting authentic, earth-first advice you can actually trust, straight to your feed. Now, let's kick things off with our first animal, the expert in waste management and soil improvement. 1. Black soldier flies. Don't worry, these aren't your typical housefly. They don't have mouths to eat your food, and they don't carry diseases. Think of them as a factory that converts kitchen scraps and livestock manure into 2 premium products: crumbly organic fertilizer and larvae packed with 40% protein. To get started, you'll need a tray system covering about 2 to 5 square meters, placed in a cool, shaded spot away from direct sunlight, ideally near your waste source to minimize transport labor. Simply toss your organic waste into the bins daily and the larvae will clean it up, potentially cutting your poultry feed bill by up to 40%. For a 1 acre farm, start with about 50 to 100 grams of eggs to establish your initial colony. One critical tip: keep the moisture level of the bedding between 60% and 70%. If it's too wet, the system loses oxygen and starts to smell. If it's too dry, the larvae grow slowly and can't digest the waste effectively. 2. Chickens. Since we're already raising larvae as poultry feed, chickens are a natural next step for our list. On a 1 acre plot, the perfect formula is a combination of free-range heritage chickens for daily eggs and meat and turkeys to assist with grazing. I recommend using a chicken tractor, a bottomless mobile coop, for a flock of about 20 heritage chickens, moving them daily across the garden beds you plan to cultivate. While the chickens clear out pests and weed seeds from the surface, you should also raise 3 to 5 free-roaming turkeys. Turkeys act as an excellent radar for predators and have the ability to eat tough, tall grasses that regular chickens usually ignore. The most effective strategy is to move the chickens onto your planned garden plot about 2 weeks before planting. By shifting the chicken tractor 2 to 3 meters every day, they leave behind a nitrogen-rich layer of manure and till the soil about 3 to 5 centimeters deep without destroying the soil structure like a mechanical tiller would. For the turkeys, place high perches in the corners of your garden so they can spot hawks and sound the alarm for the entire farm. A common mistake is raising only one species, or leaving the chickens in one spot for more than 3 days. This leads to an over-concentration of manure that sours the soil and strips away the organic mulch needed for your future crops. 3. Ducks. Unlike chickens, which tend to scratch up roots and damage crops, ducks focus primarily on hunting insects with minimal harm to your plants. The best breed for a 1 acre plot is the Indian runner duck, as they are highly active foragers and move with incredible agility. You should maintain a flock of 5 to 10 ducks, placing their coop near a pond or a low-lying area for easy water management. The most effective approach is to release them into established vegetable gardens or orchards to clean up snails, slugs, and beetles. You should also set up small splash pools or mobile ponds. The wastewater from these is a nitrogen-rich liquid fertilizer that can be channeled directly to the base of your trees without needing to be composted. Avoid letting ducks into the garden when plants are still very young, as they might trample delicate seedlings. Also, don't over-rely on commercial feed. If they are too full, they'll get lazy and stop hunting, defeating their purpose as the farm's natural pest control. 4. Rabbits. If you need a high-quality fertilizer source but don't have time for composting, raise rabbits. The biggest selling point of this animal is that they produce cold manure, meaning you can scoop it directly from the hutch and toss it onto your plants without worrying about burning the roots like chicken or cow manure would. Has anyone here tried using rabbit manure in their garden yet? How did your plants respond? On a 1 acre plot, you only need a breeding pair kept in tiered cages to save space, or in a fenced enclosure under the shade of your orchard. Feeding rabbits is incredibly cheap. You can utilize weeds, vegetable scraps, or tree leaves from your garden. The smartest setup is to place the rabbit hutches directly above your black soldier fly trays. The droppings fall down and are processed immediately by the larvae, creating a zero-waste loop. However, rabbits breed very quickly, so you must have a clear plan to separate males and females if you don't want the population to spiral out of control. And remember, the biggest mistake is keeping rabbits in a cramped or overheated spot. They handle the cold very well, but just one scorching day without shade can cost you the entire colony. 5. Quail. For those with limited space who still want a daily supply of fresh eggs, quail is an option you can't overlook. They are a high-speed protein source, taking only about 6 to 8 weeks from hatching to start laying eggs, much faster than chickens. You can raise dozens of quails in just a small cage tucked into a porch corner or under the shelter of a chicken coop. Since quails eat very little but lay eggs prolifically, you should supplement their diet with grain scraps or calcium-rich larvae from your black soldier fly setup to boost egg quality. Quail manure is very hot, so it needs to be mixed with organic waste and composted thoroughly before being applied to your plants. Their biggest advantage is that they are very quiet, making them perfect if your farm has neighbors nearby. A common mistake is designing cage floors with mesh that is too wide, which can cause the birds to break their legs, or failing to secure the coop against rats, the #1 enemy that can wipe out your entire flock in a single night. 6. Nigerian dwarf goats. If you want fresh milk but don't have enough room for a cow, Nigerian dwarf goats are your best bet. These goats are compact and space-efficient, yet they produce milk with an incredibly high butterfat content, perfect for making homemade cheese or artisanal soap. On a 1-acre plot, you should raise at least 2, as goats are highly social animals. They will get stressed and bleat loudly if left alone. In terms of management, think of goats as your mobile brush clearers. Instead of laboring to clear overgrown weeds or thick vines yourself, simply fence off the area and let the goats in. They'll have it spotless in a few days. Their diet consists mainly of shrubs and weeds, which will save you a fortune on feed bills. However, Nigerian dwarfs can jump or squeeze through the tiniest gaps just to get a taste of your flower garden. The biggest mistake is building a fence that is too low or flimsy. Invest in a mesh fence at least 1.2 meters high if you don't want them destroying your precious crops. 7. Babydoll sheep. Sheep, unlike goats, which often eat leaves and strip bark, Babydoll sheep are lawnmowers that are extremely safe for orchards. Due to their small stature, they can't reach high branches, and they lack the habit of gnawing on tree bark, helping you maintain a perfectly level lawn without the need for machinery. You can keep about 2 to 4 sheep on a 1-acre plot, allowing them to graze freely under the tree canopy. Sheep manure is an excellent nutrient source that is distributed directly onto the ground as they move, naturally improving the soil fertility of your orchard. To raise them effectively, you simply need to provide clean water and a basic shelter to protect them from rain and sun. In the summer, you can even harvest their wool for handmade crafts at home. A common mistake is keeping a sheep solitary or housing them in areas that are too damp without managing hoof diseases. Ensure the ground stays dry to keep your flock healthy. 8. Kunekune Pigs. To reclaim barren land or areas filled with tangled roots, you should introduce Kunekune Pigs into your system. Unlike industrial breeds that root deep and tear up the soil, Kunekunes are primarily grazers and only lightly till the surface while foraging. On a 1-acre plot, raising a pair of these pigs is the best way to borrow their strength to clear out decaying stumps, eat fallen fruit, and fertilize the soil directly. A smart management strategy is to paddock them in a specific area that needs improvement for 2 to 3 weeks before moving them to a new spot. Kunekune manure is exceptional for enriching soil microbiology. You can utilize all your vegetable scraps and garden byproducts to feed them, keeping your feed costs to a minimum. A common mistake is keeping them in a space that is too cramped or muddy. This doesn't just cause hygiene issues, but also compacts the soil, which defeats the purpose of land reclamation. Make sure they have enough room to roam and a small mud wallow to stay cool during hot days. 9. Honeybees. The primary role of honeybees isn't just producing honey or wax, it's pollinating your entire orchard and vegetable garden. On a 1-acre plot, keeping 2 to 3 hives can boost your fruit yield by at least 30% without any manual intervention.
You should place the hives in a secluded, sheltered spot, facing the morning sun, to encourage the bees to start working early. Honeybees don't require feeding as they forage for nectar from surrounding flowers, making the maintenance cost nearly zero. However, the golden rule is that you must absolutely avoid chemical pesticides on your farm, as even a tiny amount can wipe out the entire colony. To keep both yourself and your livestock safe, place the hives away from pathways or areas where large animals congregate. And keep a close eye on swarming season. If a second queen appears in a hive, half of your bees will fly away in an instant. I once spent an entire afternoon trying to call my bees back, and let's just say I ended up with a very swollen hand. 10. Geese. If you need a security system that runs on grass, geese are your #1 choice. They have the ability to detect intruders from a great distance and sound an incredibly loud alarm, helping protect your chickens and ducks from predators. On a 1-acre plot, just a single pair of geese is enough to assist with guarding duties and clearing out the tough, tall weeds that ducks usually ignore. To maximize their effectiveness, release them along your boundaries or around the poultry coops. A goose's grass-consuming capacity is impressive. They help you keep your walkways clean without needing a weed whacker. However, geese are aggressive and highly territorial. They may attack family members or visitors if they aren't socialized early on. The key takeaway is not to raise geese if you can't handle loud noise in the middle of the night. And make sure your fencing is secure enough to stop them from patrolling right into your neighbor's garden. To eat fish. The final piece to close your energy loop is fish. This is where you utilize all excess water and the nutrients that wash down from your land-based livestock systems. On a 1-acre plot, you should dig a small pond of about 30 to 50 square meters to raise omnivorous species like tilapia or catfish, which help convert organic waste into a clean source of protein. The optimal way to manage this is by channeling wastewater from your duck pools or composting areas directly into the fish pond. Over time, this pond water becomes enriched with microorganisms and nutrients, making it a superb liquid fertilizer for your vegetable garden. To keep your fish thriving, maintain an open water surface and avoid letting duckweed cover the entire pond, which can cause oxygen depletion at night. Practical experience shows that you should dredge the bottom muck once a year. This sludge is black gold for mulching your fruit trees, giving them lasting strength and much sweeter fruit. You don't need to start with all 11 species at once. There are many ways to combine them according to your farm's development stages, and here's an optimized process you can follow. Start with black soldier flies, chickens, and Kunekune pigs. To clear weeds, till the soil, and process waste into nutrient-rich fertilizer before planting. Once your garden is established, introduce ducks and rabbits for pest control and immediate fertilization, using tiered housing to automate waste processing. Finally, complete the cycle with sheep, goats, bees, and fish to maximize space and turn your pond into a nutrient reservoir for irrigation. Just remember to master each species before adding the next to keep the system balanced. I hope the insights on these 11 animals help you transform your 1-acre plot into a thriving, self-sustaining ecosystem. If you found this information helpful, please share it with your friends and subscribe to the channel. It gives me the motivation to create more gardening content for you. Now, which animal are you planning to start with first? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.